I haven't had my hands on a Marlin 7 since 2020, couldn't find any in 2021. Now it's 2022 and they're back in stock. And with a new fancy color option, and a new price, which is a bit steep. But you might be distracted from looking at the price once you see this color because it is beautiful. This new fade, it's called Marigold to Radioactive Red Fade. Absolutely beautiful with the usual Trek quality build and the expected Trek Marlin underside graphics and Mr. Marlin on a Marlin. It seems like every new fade option Trek comes up with even better than the last. The 7's frame rating, silver alpha aluminum. Most of the Marlin 7 lineup, 29ers, the extra small and small frames, 27.5. The small frame itself is sized at 15.5 inches. You are here for the component rundown, so I'm going to do this as efficiently as possible. The Trek Marlin 7, all components, 5 minutes or less. Let's get going, first with the bars. Bontrager alloy, 720mm wide, 31.8mm diameter, rise 5mm. Stem, specs say 60mm for the small with the 7-degree rise, and all these stems on all the Marlins blender compatible. Bontrager XR Trail Comp, which means nylon lock-on grips. Trigger shifters, Shimano Deore, well actually that's trigger shift because there's only one, and a little drivetrain spoiler. 10S equals 10 speeds. Brakes, hydraulic. The specs say that these are Shimano MT200 hydraulics, but they're actually Tektro. Semi-integrated, 1 1/8 inch, that's the VP headset. And yes, it's still a straight steerer head tube, and a straight steerer fork, and this fork has a preload adjuster and a manual lockout. Getting down to the business parts, the suspension travel. 100mm of travel and a 42mm offset. Fork brand RockShox, model Judy, and back in the day the Judy TT used to be the be-all end-all, at least as far as I was concerned. This fork is a standard 100mm quick release, which the assembler put on the right side. Brake cable routing aficionados, here you go. Inside routing for the front brake line. If you're a tread head, here's a look at the street-friendly / trail-friendly dual-purpose knobbies. And by the way, the front hub's Formula DC20 and that quick release 5x100. Back to those tires, which are Bontrager XR2 comps. Size 27.5 by 2.20. Now these tires, they're not tubeless ready. However, these rims are. They're 20mm wide and feature Presta valves. Pedals, meh. Crankset, not meh. Actually, this is an FSA Alpha Drive alloy crankset with 170mm crank arms. The Alpha Drive chainring, it's what they call a megatooth, which in the FSA world is 28 tooth. You'll see why 28 tooth in a moment. Let's work our way to the back where things get shifty, but that's shifty in a good way. The rear derailleur, a Shimano Deore M5120. That's M5120 long cage. This will definitely shift through the gears well, and it has Shimano's clutch, which are among the best in the industry. Replaceable derailleur hanger? Check. Now let's look at that 10-speed cassette, a Shimano Deore 4100 cassette, 11 to 46 tooth, which explains the 28 tooth up front. A gear range focused on ease over top speed. This is an okay drivetrain, but it does have one major cheap out. Being over $1,000, I would have expected an external bearing bottom bracket. I guess the Radioactive Red is there to distract me. More components, the quick release seat post clamp, it's a Bontrager, no surprise there. The seat post itself on this small frame is 330mm long and 31.6mm diameter. Offset 12mm. On top of that, the saddle. Trek's favorite, the Bontrager Arvada. Steel rails and 138mm wide. About 2mm thick. A joke, but I think these are getting thinner. The Tektro, not Shimano, hydraulic disc brakes on this small frame have 160mm rotors on both the front and the rear. The rear hub, a Formula DC22 5x135 for the quick release. More frame features, there is a rear stand mount and rear rack mounts. And it's oh so good looking. I love this Marigold to Radioactive Red fade. Trek classy finishes always. If you don't like this, don't worry because there are two other finishes for 2022. Matte Nautical Navy / Matte Anthracite and Miami Green. Both equally appealing. My pick of the litter though for these 2022 colors, definitely this. It is a looker, and that's the Marlin 7. And remember, for the extra small and the small frames, you get 27.5 wheels. Everything else, it's a 29er. So what do you think? Is it worth it? Comment below, let me know. Also make sure you're subscribed and you give this video a thumbs up. How did I do on time? Right at 5 minutes. Well, it's going to be a few seconds over because I want to say thank you for watching KevCentral and have a great day.